I'm remaking Poppy Playtime in Unity 3D, and on the last video you guys went crazy with the suggestions, so I added a bunch of them. Physics-based dragging, cable limits, a full control overhaul, new mechanics and polish, sound effects, and even a mini settings menu. But that's not even the coolest part. Also make sure you watch till the end for some news on a possible mobile port for the project. And yes, I finally fixed the backwards puzzle. Some of these updates completely changed how the game feels and open up so many doors for new puzzles. And remember, this entire update is based on your comments, so if something breaks, I'm blaming you. Now, let's get into it. Okay, so first, I added something completely new to the project, the conductive hand. And adding a new hand is still painful because I don't have an automatic system for it yet. So I had to go script by script adding checks for it manually. But once it actually worked, I started building the element system. Now there are element panels for electricity, fire, and ice, and they all use the same detection system. The panel checks your hand and applies whatever element that it's been set to. And of course, I had to add custom particles for each one. But giving the hand elements isn't enough, it actually needs uses. So I made an electricity receiver, a rope that can be burned, and even the Poppy gel from chapter 5 which can be frozen. Each one detects the hand, checks the current element, and if it matches the required element it can trigger an action. And freezing the gel doesn't just change how it looks, it converts it into a fully breakable object just like the glass from the last video. So now you can freeze it and then shatter it. And then I also gave the other two elements their own functions. And when I expanded the demo map, I also included this large empty area that we're going to fill with stuff in the next video, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that. But while I was adding all of this, I started noticing something else. Some of the core systems in the game just weren't keeping up, especially dragging objects. It felt cheap and not very satisfying, so I decided to rebuild it. And now it's fully physics-based, meaning that an object's weight and size actually matters. Here's how it works. When the hand grabs a physics object, I don't change the object's transform directly. Instead, I apply a force in the direction of the player each frame, which pulls it in like a cable. I also dampen the velocity so it doesn't wobble around. This keeps the movement smooth and fully physics-based. Dragging objects finally felt smooth, but actually grabbing them didn't. In the previous version, you had to start holding the mouse immediately to drag an object. There was no real in-between state. What I wanted instead was a much more flexible system. You grab the object first, and then you can click again to retract or hold the mouse to interact and drag it. And implementing that turned out to be a lot harder than I expected. I had to restructure how input was managed and add some extra checks. This part of the script creates a two-step input system. When you click, the game doesn't immediately decide what to do. It waits for a second input. That way, the same button can fire the hand, drag objects, interact with things, or retract the hand, depending on what the player does next. And with this change, the game immediately felt so much better to play. But the grab pack was still missing something, a cable limit. In the old version, you could stretch the cable out infinitely, which was terrible for obvious reasons. So I designed a system that measures the number of active cable segments and adds up the total length of all the cables in the scene. If that total goes past the maximum cable length, the player gets pulled towards the newest point in the cable, preventing it from stretching any further. Well, that's what it was supposed to do, but instead it turned the grab pack into a grappling hook, which was fun, but not what we wanted at all, and took forever to fix. But once I did, the player gets pulled towards the newest point in the cable, preventing it from stretching any further. And to help the player understand how much cable they have left, I used Unity's built-in masking system to gradually hide parts of the crosshair as the cable runs out. And the result was definitely worth the effort. And while I was still working on the grab pack, a lot of people suggested being able to customize which hands the player starts with. So I built a hand controller system that allows you to choose exactly which hands the grab pack starts with. You can even disable the grab pack entirely so the player has to pick it up in the level. On top of that, the pickup itself can also be customized, meaning I can start the player with something like just the blue hand and let them find the others throughout the game. I also fixed a bunch of bugs that you guys commented about, and I'll quickly go point out a few of them. To start, hands no longer clip through objects when hitting them. I fixed and removed the delay between pressing the key to switch hands and actually switching the hand. You can no longer switch hands while holding an item. Completing a puzzle now automatically retracts the grab pack. The pressure hand now displays the proper open hand animation. The player controller has had many movement and camera smoothing improvements. Every single interactable object has been optimized for performance. And many other adjustments. If a bug that you commented on the last video is still in the game, let me know again in the comments and I'll try to fix it next. While I was fixing bugs, I decided it was a good time to add a temporary settings menu, with options for sensitivity, quality, VSync, full screen mode and resolution, and the option to reset the level and to close the game. I also added a bunch of sound effects for almost every action because the project was almost completely silent until this update, but there still are a few sounds that I couldn't get the files for yet. I'll show a bit of gameplay of the project so far at the very end if you want to hear the sound effects for yourself. And as promised at the start of the video, I just wanted to take a minute to talk about porting this project to mobile. First of all, I've seen all your comments and I'm working on it. It just might take a little bit because I have to change a lot of scripts to work with touch controls, and of course optimize it as much as possible to actually run with decent FPS. And I read a comment the other day from someone who knew a way to run the current project on mobile. So if you are someone who knows a way of getting that to work, please leave a comment with some instructions so other people can try. And before I end this video, I'm just going to show you how you can download the project for yourself for either editing and using it, or if you just want to play around with it. If you're just looking for the playable version, go into the description and find the itch.io link. Click on download, and once it's done, you can right click on the zipped folder and select extract all, then extract. Now, you can delete the original folder and open the new unzipped one. Then just find this exe file and open it. Now, if you want to be able to edit, add your own stuff, and maybe use this project for whatever reason, go back to the description and click on the GitHub link. Select code and download the zip. Once that's complete, it's the same steps as before. Right click, extract all, delete the original folder, and this time, open the Unity Hub, select open, and find the unzipped folder. And that's going to be it for this video and update. Thank you so much for watching until the end, and please let me know in the comments what I should be updating and adding to this project next. And make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that. Thank you again, and I'll see you in the next one.